Off the running. Off the back, Donovan Edwards. They hand it off to Johnson. Boise State has won. Right now, and they take a downfield shot. And the catch is made. It's Riley Williams. Goes for the three. Touchdown.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another edition of the Gridiron Uncensored podcast, and we're rolling along with the big, beautiful Big 12, and this is it. This is the end of the road.
The very last, or in this case, the first, the very first.
We went from worst to first. All right,
That's right.
And here we are, Arizona State. What a turnaround from where they were the season before in 2023 and 2024. I mean, just incredible season, and they're hungry. Dillingham's ready. He's like, hey, we're gonna push this decade. We're gonna try and run this damn program, to its max. And we're gonna look into it right now. We're gonna see if 2025 they can get back to the college football playoff or in the Big 12 championship. First, obviously, we're looking back 2024. Great season. We just mentioned that they made it to the Big 12 championship game and blasted Iowa State. Early in the season, they had that slip up against Cincy. I believe Leavitt was injured for that game, and then Texas Tech, that was a early loss, but they were able to recover. And then they went on a tear, beating all these teams: Kansas State, BYU, Arizona. And then what happened against Texas? I still think they got screwed. They got screwed. They got fucking screwed. Plain and simple. But still, great game. And, it showed a lot for what this team can do in 25, in my opinion. I know Skattebo's gone, but they still got talent on this roster, Trev. What do you think about this Arizona State team from 2024? You're looking at 25. No coaching changes, right?
No coaching changes. All the top tier coaches, they all, as they say, they kept it all. The continuity is there for the coaches. So that is of little or no concern unless you're an Arizona State fan and you're worried about the offense and not having Skattebo and that kind of, I guess you could say, anchor to the offense.
Yeah,
not having that could be cause for a concern, but I still think that the overall offense is looking. I mean, that there shouldn't be much changes other than obviously personnel.
Yeah, and really, you look at some of the numbers, and Blake's jumping in, baby. Let's go, get him in. What's going on? But hey, the shirt, I see it. I love it.
I got it.
Gridiron Uncensored, baby. If you want one, holler at us. I'll charge you extra plus rent. But anyway, Blake, we're just talking about the 2024 season, how nice it was, and if they can continue. Really, no coaching changes. So now we're just looking at the portal and some of the numbers. Returning production side of it, they're at 79%. S&P Plus, you're at 22nd in the country. I mean, that's already speaking to a pretty good return here, and a chance to get back to at least a Big 12 title game. And then you talk about the portal side. It was a 56 class. Again, I don't really worry about that number as much as maybe I used to. It's obviously you want to be towards the top if you're doing it, but they still had a lot of good guys come in. 16 in, 22 out, and what do you guys think about this portal class, Trev? Anything stand out?
Just the offensive side of things, honestly, you can tell they focused a lot on the offensive side of the ball in general. With this transfer portal class, I mean, we have multiple receivers. Some of them, I would say, could be immediate contributors, including Jerron Hamilton and Noble Johnson out of Clemson, and then obviously and Jalen Hamilton's out of Alabama. Excuse me. Good Lord.
Yep.
But they have Akeem Lemieux from Northern Illinois. I know that's doesn't sound like a big deal, but the dude is 6'7".
Yeah,
that's a big wide receiver. I don't care what you say. I mean, he's only 190 pounds according to this, but I think that he could make a difference for them as well, especially inside the red zone. But yeah, I think overall, I mean, they got 2 Iowa State interior offensive linemen. You can just tell that they focused in on the offensive side of the ball for sure in this particular portal class.
I didn't think, honestly, there was a lot that they needed from the portal. That's why the ranking of the class didn't concern me either.
Yeah.
But out of the portal on the defensive side, I think Kendrick Breedlove was a good pickup out of Purdue.
Yeah.
He led Purdue in interceptions. He was all over the field defensively for them. And then out of Army, Kanye Udo. I think that's a good pickup for them, trying to replace Skattebo.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a hard player to, fill the gap of. But I think he'd do a good job. He was a 1,000-yard rusher at Army. I mean, the team is built to succeed.
Yeah, I agree. And, bringing in Udo is so important for this offense because you have a proven back that can take some heat off Levitt. Other guys, McKeel Gardner, I thought it's important coming over from Oregon. You get the Helton guys coming in on the offensive line to shore up some depth. They're from the Iowa State crew. So, I mean, you got some good pieces out there that are important. And like you said, you didn't really need much. I mean, you're already bringing back 79%. It was a little bit less before, but, you got to factor in the transfer portal, but still it's in that higher echelon. So, Arizona State, I think you're in a good spot. Let's look at, the offensive side of the ball, guys. And, I mean, you got to talk about Sam Levitt first and just how he came onto the scene. Really, nobody was expecting much from this guy. When you talk 2024, he came in from Michigan State and just immediately started getting after it. I mean, the dude threw for almost 3,000 yards, 24 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. The one pick in the playoff game against Texas, that sucked, but still he threw for 222, and the team was kind of getting worked over early, but they found a way to come back. I mean, you look at the Big 12 championship game, he went off, he had 3 touchdowns. The guy can run as well, 440 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns. Perfect piece to lead this offense going in, second year, really getting after it. They got pieces all around him. You mentioned Udo. What else are you seeing on the offensive side? You mentioned some of the wide receivers, Trevor coming in. Guys will probably step in right away.
I think it's going to be a receiver by committee for one. Obviously, you have Jordan Tyson coming back at the receiver spot. I would imagine that he would be the number 1 receiver or somewhere along those lines. But obviously, with the rest of the wide receiving core is going to be kind of like by committee. Like I said, Sam Levitt, the secret's out on you, so no one's going to be sleeping on you any longer.
That's fair.
You have a whole year of film that these guys can prepare for now. So I feel like that this will be honestly the year that we will find out if Levitt is actually for real. I feel like he caught a lot of teams off guard. Even Texas, I feel like, didn't take him seriously in that game because, I mean, I feel like Texas's corners should have been able to run with their wide receivers, and they kept finding ways to get them open. Not always, don't get me wrong. It was a rough go of it at the beginning of the game, but Skattebo broke them all down and just beat everyone down to a pulp, and then
really did.
Everybody got open. But no, I honestly think that this year is going to be a real test for Levitt because there's no Skattebo as an anchor to just hand the ball off and get 5 yards like that, like no big deal. It's going to be really Levitt's team in offense to run.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you talk about that. You also have guys that have been there, Raleigh Brown, Kyson Brown, guys in the backfield that they've got speed, all these things, but it's time for them to step up. Noble Johnson, I think he should be a guy that comes in immediately. You mentioned him earlier to be a great target for Levitt. And then, bringing in a wide receiver from Bama has always got to be good, right? And Jaron Hamilton, we'll see what he can do. And then on the offensive line, like Rogaroli coming in from Nebraska, getting Big Ten type offensive linemen, that's always important. I don't care if they were starting or depth. they were recruited there for a reason. It's the same with SEC types. Bring them in, and they bring the culture, they bring that talent with them. You mentioned Tyson; he's back healthy, and their tight end also really solid at blocking, and that's something. If you're going to get this run game going again, it'll be good to have. So I think the offense is going to be right back, where it is. It is hard to replace, Cam, but I think you'll still find some good running room. Let's look at the defensive side, guys. And another one, really they stepped up big. And you talking about how they played against Texas. Yeah, it got down, but they came right back and held them. They dealt with some suspensions at the end of the season, like half game suspensions for targeting. We call it bullshit.
It was.
We call it how we see it. We said that earlier, Blake. We said they got screwed in that game. And,
yeah, I remember it. It was ridiculous.
And I think it was 2 games prior to that or something as well. They had another targeting call.
Yeah, that
was questionable. Either way, they got good defense, and they came out of nowhere. So if they can continue that, the return production is good up front, especially. Dieter moved on, but he's replaced by Gardner from Oregon. CJ Fight returns. They've got guys all over the defense. How are you feeling on this side of the ball?
I think the defense, honestly, is the strength of the team. I've got some players to watch. Linebacker Jordan Crook. A lot of people are very high on him. Xavier Alford, and then Kendrick Breedlove.
Mm-hmm.
I think this defense is very poised. They've got a lot of experience, and it's a questionable Big 12. It's really up in the air, and that's why this is one of my top teams in the Big 12. I mean, I think between them and Baylor, they have the most returning production that was successful.
Yeah.
And I think they're poised to make a run, and it would not shock me in the slightest if they won the Big 12 again.
Yeah. I mean, I know you mentioned Breedlove a couple different times, but somebody that I haven't really heard you guys say is his counterpart, Nyland Green, also from Purdue, who stands at 6'1" and was a former 4-star. I think that he could come in and make an impact just like Breedlove could. And like you said, I mean, I'm just going to reiterate, I think their defense will stop a lot more people this year than they did last year. I think it'll be a year more experience. Obviously, they're bringing in some experienced corners and a couple safeties. And this team's an interesting one. I think that they will be in the Big 12 this year, but I do not think they will win it.
Interesting. Well, I'm excited when we get down to that, seeing who we think is going to win it. Cause there's a couple of teams this year that feel legitimate.
I'm going to definitely take a flyer this year. This year I'm probably going to take a flyer.
I know we're about to go to it, so I'm just going to say this. I think their schedule leans in favor of Arizona State. And I think that's I just think it's beneficial. They have their toughest game, which I believe to be Baylor and Utah early in the season.
Mm-hmm.
And then toward the end of the year, you do have Colorado on the road. But that's one of those teams, you just got to see what they're going to be. But, they get Arizona, they get West Virginia at home in November, and that's huge.
Yeah. Really looking at it, you do get a nice test early with Mississippi State.
Yeah,
they've been retooled. They've got a lot of new things going for them at Mississippi State, and then Texas State. Get them in Tempe, but Texas State, I think they'll still be a good team, but they won't. I don't think be as potent offensively as they were last season, or at least the potential they had with Mahdi moving on. Right. But then, the Baylor TCU game, that's a tough pair. And then at least you get the bye week before you travel off to, Salt Lake. Really, to me, it's that middle, Baylor, TCU, Utah, Texas Tech. Those 4 games are tough. And then, you got to roll through it. But you got the veteran quarterback. You got, mentioned the top 2 returning safeties, or your top safeties are returning. Your top 2 corners are returning. You mentioned Nyland Green coming in to plus that up. So you got all this talent. You've got to win these games. You cannot afford it. You maybe afford one slip up, out there, but you got to make sure if you're trying to go back to a playoff, it's got to be to the right team. You can't lose to, friggin', Houston or, Texas State, something like that. Trev, what are you seeing?
Well, I'm going to have to disagree with you guys. I think their schedule's a little harder than people give it credit for. While I'm not. Hang on, let me look before I say this. Yep,
I agree. It's tough.
They officially miss out on Kansas State and Kansas. I have messed that up every single time because I haven't looked. But whatever, here we are. But they do have to miss those teams. However, I truly think the hardest part of their schedule is the part that we're not talking about. The last 5 games of the season, I think there are 2 losses within those last 5 games.
Yeah.
I think they are either going to lose to – I think they're going to lose to Arizona.
Ooh.
At the end of the season. And I think they're going to probably lose to West Virginia.
Yeah.
I think they're going to go 1-2 the last 3 weeks of the season. But I think they're also going to have tough games going into that bye week on that November 8th with Houston and Iowa State going into the bye week.
What is their over under on the season?
Yeah, my bad. Over under on them is sitting at 8.5.
Okay, so I've got them going 9-3.
Yeah, and it is a tough schedule. I mean, the Big 12 is, I feel like, really improved this season. Houston, you got Fritz coming up. West Virginia is retooled completely, so we don't know how they're going to be. But if they gel at this moment, late in the season, kind of like we see what Kansas did last year, it could be that's a dangerous game. Colorado, we mentioned them out from under the shadow of Shadur, and Travis Hunter. What are they going to be? So it's an interesting
question marks there.
It's an interesting one. And we mention it every time we talk about the Big 12 is there's a reason the gap between first and over under and last and over under is like only 3, right? Yeah. 8.5 to 5.5.
That's right.
Nobody knows what the hell is going to happen. So it's going to be a fun conference. We lean on returning production. The 4 things, I'll say it again, is continuity of staff. They've got it. Returning production, good. Returning production, they've got it. Veteran quarterback. I'd call him a vet now after last season. And then, schedule, I'd say they've got 3 of the 4. Because schedule, there's some spots that, okay, it's going to be tough, but
could be cause for concern, but doesn't necessarily guarantee a loss necessarily. But
right,
it's cause.
I feel like where their home games are at, and then where that bye week is, I think is beneficial to them. I wasn't saying earlier that like their schedule is like a cakewalk.
Sure.
I just think the way it's laid out with where their home games are, like Iowa State's on the road. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
But I just feel like some of the West Virginia game being at home, Arizona being at home. I feel like they can slip up on maybe 2 games, but they got to be to the right teams like Utah or Baylor, what have you, and still have a chance to play for the title.
Totally agree.
I totally agree with that too. Yeah. But yeah, I just think I think the last part of that last 3 weeks of the schedule are a dangerous thing because, well, one, we don't really know what West Virginia is going to be until game day, honestly. The first week of the season, that's when we're going to find out what West Virginia is kind of all about.
Yeah.
And then I might change my team.
Well, I mean, the end of the schedule is where all the mayhem usually occurs. So I mean,
we saw it in the Big 12 last year with people dropping.
Last year.
So and say you undefeated or 1 loss at that point when you play West Virginia and you got a hot head, you can't stumble that and overlook them. So Arizona State fans, let us know what you think. Give us, you definitely, I think you're hitting the over on that, but I don't know. We'll see. Give us your feelings. What have we maybe missed that should make us a little bit more confident in them, say, making 10 wins, 11 wins? And hit us in the comments, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Gents, anything else on Arizona State?
Final thoughts, over or under, real quick. Over or under 9-win season?
I'm going over.
I'm going under.
Oh,
So I can see them getting to 10. I mean, I can see them going 11-1.
I'm
I
going.
can see
I'm
8
going.
wins.
I'm only going under because so many people are telling me that they're going to be like, "Oh, it's 11-win season." Here we go.
Not Vegas.
Yeah, I could see
Vegas don't
an
have
8.
any faith that anybody's going to get 10 wins.
Not in the Big 12, they don't.
No, they don't.
Like for them, I could see an 8-win season. I could see them getting to 11. You know, it just depends.
It really is that big of a swing where it could easily be not even making it to the Big 12 championship or making it to the playoff.
Yeah,
This is as simple as I can make it. I think if they get 60% of the running back production out of one of the new backs that they had from Skattebo, I think they get 10 wins.
Yeah, I could see it. Fair. Better win at Mississippi State.
Yeah,
better win there.
They have to have a good non-conference. They have to win out the non-conference.
Absolutely. Well, guys, again, we appreciate your time. Holler at us in the comments. We'll see you around. Good night.
See you.
Easy.